Today, we're diving into something pretty heavy: how a single government policy in Ethiopia can reach right into the most personal parts of someone's life and literally fracture their very identity.
Just listen to this. This comes from a mother in Ethiopia, and wow, her words are so raw. They really cut to the heart of what we're talking about today. She's talking about her government ID card, a carta, and she calls it the work of a devil. A devil. So you have to ask, how can a simple document, a piece of plastic, cause that much pain?
And that's the big question we're going to tackle today. We're going to unpack how one single political decision created a system where an ID card can actually force a child to legally erase half of who they are. It's wild. And to really get it, we've got to start with the system itself. All right, so to really understand what's going on, we need to zoom out a bit and look at the political system that made all this possible. We're talking about a massive shift that completely redrew the map of Ethiopia. And in a way, it's people. So before 1991, things were different. Ethiopia was organized into provinces based on geography, historical regions. They called it the Kifle Hagar system. But then after 91, everything changed. A new constitution brought in something called the Kilil system. And the big shift was this: the foundation of the state went from geography to ethnicity. They literally redrew the country's internal borders along ethnic and language lines. And the core idea of this new system was this really strict policy: one language, one identity, one territory. So each new federal state, or Kilil, was basically assigned as the official homeland for one specific ethnic group. And you can imagine, this wasn't just some boring administrative change on a map. No, it fundamentally redefined who belongs where. But it created a massive problem, right? What happens if you belong to more than one of these groups? And that question, well, that gets us right to the heart of the problem. It brings us to the core mechanism of exclusion that's built right into this system. Okay, so the state needed a rule, right? A way to categorize people with mixed heritage. And the rule they landed on was something called patrilineality. In plain English, it means your official identity, your ethnic group, it's all traced through your father's side, your father's lineage, and only your father's. So here's how that actually plays out in real life. When you go to get your official ID card, you are forced to declare your father's ethnicity as your own. That's it. Your mother's entire heritage, her culture, her language, her family line, it just gets legally erased from your official identity. You're told you have to choose, but it's not a real choice, is it? There's only one option on the table. And you can see this erasure happening on a massive scale. Just look at the 2007 census data. You'll see dozens and dozens of specific ethnic groups listed out. But you know what you won't find? A box for mixed or quit, which is the common term for people of mixed heritage. Nope. Instead, they're all just lumped into this incredibly vague and impersonal category from different parents. They're officially made into an other.
And get this, it's not just a passive thing where the forms are confusing. It's actively enforced. Researchers actually talked to census takers who straight up admitted that when they meet someone who identifies as mixed, their job is to, and I'm quoting here, do our best to persuade them to pick one bloodline only, meaning the father's. The pressure is built right into the system.
So, okay, why is this such a big deal? I mean, it's just a card, right? Wrong. The real-world consequences are absolutely devastating. See, that ID card connects you to a specific ethnic homeland, a Kilil, and that connection determines your access to everything. We're talking about people being denied jobs because they don't speak the official language of their father's region, a place they might have never even been to. Socially, they get treated like outsiders, not pure enough for the group they were forced into. Politically, they have zero representation as a mixed community. And in the worst cases, during conflict, they can be forced from their homes, belonging nowhere.
But that's the official story. That's the state-sanctioned reality. What's amazing is that the research also found this powerful counter-narrative, a completely different way of belonging that's deeply woven into Ethiopian culture itself. And you know where they found it? In the simple, beautiful act of sharing coffee.
It's called Nu Buna Tetu. In Amharic, it means come and drink coffee with us. And while it's a daily ritual all over the country, it's so much more than just a coffee break. It's this deeply social, organic community gathering that presents a totally different way for people to connect with each other. And here's what makes it so special and so different from the state system. First, the ceremony is almost always started and hosted by a mother. She's the one who calls out to her neighbors. And everyone is welcome. It doesn't matter what your ethnic background is or your social status. It's a space where community is literally built from the ground up, just through talking and sharing. A real horizontal connection between people, not some top-down command.
And when you put them side by side, the contrast is just stark. On one side, you've got the political space, the Khalil. It's top-down, it's state-sanctioned, it's patriarchal, and it's designed to divide. Then on the other side, you have the social space, the coffee ceremony. It's bottom-up, community-led, inclusive, and welcoming. It's this incredible clash between the rigid box the state tries to put people in and the fluid, real space that people create for themselves every single day. So what do we make of this? This huge contrast between the ID card and the coffee cup? Well, it really pushes us to ask a much, much bigger question.
What it shows us, loud and clear, is that how a nation officially defines identity and belonging isn't just some academic exercise. These aren't just words on a piece of paper. The decision to build a nation on a model that excludes people has real, painful, and absolutely life-altering consequences. It literally determines who gets a job, who feels safe in their own home, who belongs, and whose very existence is even officially recognized by the state.
And that really leaves us with this final thought to chew on. We often love to think of a nation as this beautiful mosaic, right? Made up of all these different people and cultures. But what happens when the system itself, the very framework holding the mosaic together, starts telling some of its most unique pieces that they don't quite fit, or worse, that they have to erase half of themselves just to be seen? What's the real cost of a fracture like that? That's something to think about. Thanks for joining me.